You got the triple it.
Starving, stomach touching, no lunching. Broke, no hope, pocket lint clutching. Can't eat, can't sleep, can't function. Cop pushing me in the street, bum rushing. Pull something out of the trash can and ate it. Pretend imagining my mom just made it. Breath smelling like boat smoke with no soap. Sprinkler soap, holes that my toenails poke. In my sock from walking the block with no shoes. If I die, I won't even make it on the news. Bump chill, giving the spiel and narration. Hancock is on your watch, legislation. Talk about my tax dollars, put it in context. Buy land, build a complex, it's not that complex. I'm not impressed cause we fell in the test. Folks claiming that they're blessed, but you're looking a mess. I'm in raw, keep a watchful eye in my eye. What you do when the dark comes out on the block. Kids with no place to go, they just roaming. Pushed out from gentrification and zoning. Honing on the issues, get it fixed. So we can praise you on the next one, remix. If Colorado's the best place to live, change it. Homeless can't even get warm meals or blankets.
Cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the city and need you. Promised to do something, but we don't see you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something.
Picture the vision. Do you care how they living? Is your pride a mile high? Hancock the unforgiving. Forbidden people who treated unequal. Never ending sequels. This world is pure evil. It's a war going on outside. Face your fear. Lack of humanity damaged us from the rear. We got money for wars but can't house the poor. Bank accounts galore, hiding billions offshore. Too many rich people making millions. Poverty's profits are deceptive. Now tell us who's a villain. You rather see them in coffin. We seen it too often. Mental madness, you a savage from your talking. Like a toy all wound up. Homeless caps round up. On bill from the ground up. But scared to come around. Plus, what would you do if this was you? Would you take it for granted the way you do? We know you would.
Cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the city and need you. Promised to do something, but we don't see you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something.
Downtown looking like a war zone. Many despondent, no place to call home. Let me expound just a little bit. Families is homeless, city ain't this shit. We don't need sweets, we need solutions. Hypothermia, just keep executing. Excrement covers the streets where kids plant their feet, but we throw them $1 just to eat. Wandering into that old mission. Just one night of shelter is not sufficient. Another shot at life is what they need. And a decent place to rest their feet. Remember, one false move, you can be in their shoes. So watch who you turn your nose up to. Aurora and Denver is not the same, but we still say justice for Elijah McClain.
Your hand cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, hand cut the city and need you. Promised to do something, but we don't see you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something.
The evidence, you've been hesitant and negligent to protect the residents and unhoused veterans. Those you traumatize, you can learn a lot from. The lessons of life, how to provide protection. The message to the mayor, please understand. This is a Arapaho youth in Cheyenne land. In a pandemic, citizens are dying, man. No place to use the toilet or wash their hands, and no safe outdoor space to shelter in place. The facts you gotta face, you could never erase. Your lame duck legacy, past the buck policy, history of hypocrisy, fake ass apology. The Mile High City's now a danger zone. You disrespect City, Baca, and Calderon, and now we see you got your sights set on DC. Well, we gon' let the whole country know. Believe me.
Your hand cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, hand cut the city and need you. Promised to do something, but we don't see you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something, but we don't believe you. Man, cut the streets, need you. You promised to do something.
Wow. Like, wow. You know what? That song right there Message to the mayor. That's an instant classic right there. That's a classic.
Yep.
Message to the mayor. Interesting day today, Free Think Zones. I forgot my phone, or I don't know where my phone is. Do you know what it feels like to not know where your other brain is at? Like, you know what it is? Like, do you know what it is to lose your brain? Like, okay, so if you're calling me, I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. But, it's like a whole bunch of weird stuff is going on. And I got to bring in the crew. In just a second, I got to bring in the interview guru. And then I've got to tell, I got to bring in the dean of black journalism. So much going on. I just left downtown. There's hundreds of folks down there. You know that there's a genocide taking place in Tigray, and the world is crying. All eyes are on Tigray. The world is saying that rape is never acceptable. Using hunger as a weapon is never acceptable. Attacking, fleeing refugees is never acceptable, and targeting civilians in the act of war is never acceptable. So, big rally right downtown and across the nation, but downtown. I just came from there, and the great Leanne Wheeler, I'm not avoiding your phone call. I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone. But, yeah, tonight we're going to have a conversation. The great Leanne Wheeler is going to facilitate a conversation or host a conversation on watermelon politics. With that being said, I'm going to bring in the crew. Hold on, let me do this, and let me just bring them right in. Boom, there they are.
Woo!
Hey. You should have did the trigger alert before you said what she was doing. That was a lot. You weren't ready.
The great Leanne Wheeler is going to host a conversation today, or like they said in the black church, on tonight on watermelon politics. Hey, JB.
Yes, sir.
Shay J, what do you... Like, when you hear the term watermelon politics, what is that?
Ooh. You know how they get us? Like watermelon politics, one example of a campaign is when we see the strippers being used as a tool in the campaign for the Democrats.
Where'd your voice go?
What?
Speak.
Hello, hello?
Yeah, just speak up. Speak up. I got you. Shay J, go
Test
ahead.
1, 2, 3, 8.
Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think one thing we see with watermelon politics is this year when they use strippers as a source to get to our the Democrat people. They use strippers as a tool. So I think when we look at watermelon politics, there's so many things to look at. There's so many aspects, but we've seen some of it just in the recent election. We've been watching. Some would even say Chuck Taylor's could be a watermelon politic.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh.
So there's different things to be said. I think the conversation's to be had, but I just say salute to Leanne Wheeler for having the conversation.
The great Leanne Wheeler. JB, watermelon politics. What are watermelon politics?
It follows biscuits and molasses. and whatever they think we like, let's have a party for them out let's have a picnic with some red Solo cups, and we'll have some watermelon, and we'll have some potato salad, and we'll get them on our side.
We'll get their vote. We'll get their power, and we'll give them a watermelon. Like they'll get a. I mean, because we like red, black, and green, and there's nothing more red, black, and green than a watermelon. Like
knock it off. That's
got
horrible.
Got black seeds.
Got green, red, black, and green. That's
horrible.
That's like the watermelon politics. But with that being said,
you haven't even done the trigger alert.
I know, JB. You want to hit them with the trigger alert? We're counting on you today.
We're counting on you.
Well, I did it last week.
Okay, Shay J.
Hey, this is a show that triggers people because you've entered a free think zone. If you are unwilling to accept anybody else's point of view, tune out now and don't read the comments. You have been warned.
That's good.
Warned you.
That's good. He's getting there, Shay J.
It's the best you've done. Kind of, sort of.
I got a lot of free thinkers out there. Free thinkers.
Great. I think we accept it as a trigger.
It's acceptable. It's acceptable. I got a lot of questions, and I know you guys got some stuff that you followed. But my lead story that I've been following is Jesse Paris has been put out of a homeless organization. Now, how do you get put out of a homeless organization? Like, how do you become homeless out of a homeless organization? This is what I want. Like this is like getting fired on your day off. Like, how do you get like, who put someone out of a homeless organization?
Because he had a home.
No. I don't think that was it. I don't think that was
it.
it.
I
don't think.
They followed him, and he went in the home and never came out till the next morning.
Oh, so you got to be homeless to be in the homeless organization, because there's a whole bunch of folks that have houses that are making a whole bunch of decisions around folks who don't. So I don't know if that's the answer, JB.
So is the organization? What is the organization?
Denver. It's Denver Homeless Out Loud. You know our good friends, Denver Homeless Out Loud.
Not out loud. You can't put somebody out that organization.
You can't do it.
You can't do that.
Especially
who's
like
helping.
You can't do that.
Jesse Paris. Like when you think
he's
of
the head of the organization. They think it's his organization.
He's the mayor.
I thought it was his.
No, the mayor is Jerry Burton. It's Mayor Jerry.
I love Jerry.
We're talking about Jesse Paris.
Right. He's next in line to be the next mayor of the organization.
He's a mayor pro tem.
But when you think of somebody that's going hard in the paint for the unhoused neighbors, like when we gave out 1,656 dinners, I guarantee you Jesse Paris probably gave out 1,000 of them.
Period. And it's like, even when I've sat with a homeless organization and had a conversation, they know about Jesse Paris. They know about the Out Loud. That's the only reason I even know of the organization. So he's a big part of what the organization even is.
Used to be.
The grassroots, the leg to it, the community reach to it. So I don't even know, how do you even you can't let the face of your organization go. What are you saying?
That's
Knock
horrible.
it off.
I hope he sues.
Why?
Can you sue?
I don't know that.
I hope he sues and gets money for the organization on the back end.
I don't know how it happens. I don't know the details, but
I need details.
But just on the face value, can you put someone out of a homeless organization? Like, isn't the whole thing about advocating for folks that've been put out? Like, how you get
organization?
Like, how you get put out of a group that advocates for folks that've been put out?
That's horrible.
No. I wonder who put. Well, the question is, who put him out?
I don't know.
Was it the city? Did the city put him out?
I think we got to get Jesse Paris on soon. We got to get him on soon.
I hate it.
But
yeah, we definitely have to
okay.
stop him soon.
Well, I have been watching Jesse Paris's live feeds, and he said that ever since he got a girlfriend that some don't consider to be black, like she's not black enough. You know, we do that light-skinned thing. JB getting triggered over there. JB getting triggered. Like but. Like, I understand that Jesse Paris's girlfriend, Seduction Dolls, Jesse Paris's girlfriend is not black enough. And because he's got Jesse Paris goes hard for the blackness. Like, Jesse.
Who's making the rules?
I don't know, but apparently.
What are we measuring not black enough on? What is the measure?
Like, did you see all them light-skinned folks running the Black Panther Party? Catherine and all. Did you see every black organization has the lightest skinned folks you can find except Marcus Garvey's organization. All the rest of them I see is like, you got to be light skinned to be the leader.
And the crazy part is most of the time they're mixed. They're mixed, and they always are the ones that are most passionate about the cause for some reason. Because I think when you're just black, sometimes you're like, yo, I'm just dealing with this.
Hey, look, you know
they
what?
They have a point to prove. I feel like a little bit more.
And I don't know if it's a point to prove what I do think it is, because I have freckles and I was a yellow kid, but you get it hard from both blacks and whites. So you have nowhere. Basically, you're on an island by yourself. Right. Know? And when you say kids are mixed or biracial or whatever we want to call them in these days and times, back in the day, passing was something that black folks and their parents pushed kids to a lot of times. And when you go to Washington D.C., do you know why so many light-skinned blacks are in D.C.? Because the congressmen, the government was set up there before airplanes, right? Stagecoaches. before trains. So they were there for the whole year. They didn't do like now where they fly back on the weekends and like that. So they had a second family. You know, Thomas Jefferson had a black woman who gave him kids.
He didn't have no wife. He raped a black woman.
Right.
Like that's
All
what he
of them,
did.
he
He ain't had no wife. Them white men that was slave older, what
All
they
of them
called
did that.
them terrorists. They ain't had no
All of
wives.
them
They didn't
did
have
it.
no concubines, and was some straight up racists and abusers of human rights. So
And all of them did it. And so that's why in D.C., if you were light, bright, you got a government job. Come on now. Come on now.
but John, but JB, I gotta ask because
Right, wrong, or indifferent. I
You
don't
know, sometimes it's the lighter you are, the blacker you are. Like when you get like even if you get a white person that's like kind of with that black ethos, they scare me because they be blacker than black folks. And I'm like, you got to be hard.
And I think-
Like when you white and you running with blacks and you representing blacks, you got to be harder than the average black. And so, you know, I always thought you had to be light skinned to get in and around a black organization. I don't know. And so
I feel like that too.
But the problem is Jesse Paris has a girlfriend, and I understand that her dad or somebody is black, but she ain't black enough. Like, how much do you got to get in?
So what?
It,
2%.
like-
If your daddy's black, you black.
It's
That's just how it
2%.
goes.
2%
Daddy's
is
black,
the rule.
you're black. It's
2%.
the name of the game.
You got 2%
We're not.
Negroid, whatever Negroid blood is, you're black.
Negro blood is the strongest blood there is. So
Well,
daddy's
well.
black, you're black.
But Jesse Paris said ever since, and you know Jesse Paris is the poster child for Black Power in 2021. Like the whole thing, you know, and you look into the dictionary and you see Black Power, you're gonna see Jesse Paris. And he's so black, he gonna make a bunch of folks nervous. But now that he's got a fair-skinned black woman, all of his black friends
That's ignorant.
have said that he is
That's so ignorant.
he's persona
I
non
hate it.
grata, no, persona non grata.
Hey, look.
I'm not with it.
Jeff. See, when you're my complexion, you go ahead and get that suntan because you want to get it a little darker. Now, when you're your complexion, you're trying to get some. You know, a lot of black people, blue black people.
Are you saying we're blue black?
blue black? A lot of.
Is that what we are?
No,
I get purple
You're not
in the
dark
summer.
enough.
I
Yeah,
get
you're
purple.
not
Well, I be trying to get my purple on in the summer.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of dark-skinned blacks will use natanola. That's where that came from. Like, let me get lighter. Let me get a little bit lighter because I'll get whatever they're getting over there. We wasn't getting nothing. Light-skinned blacks ain't getting nothing. No,
But that's not how.
black-skinned blacks ain't getting nothing. Come on, man.
The assimilation of that though is that the light skinned people really wanted to, had to have that black power, but then the dark skinned people were trying to get further away from seeming dark. And so that meant you wanted to act a little bit more in line. So I think it's always been that two ways of wanting what you didn't have, thinking the other part was getting something else. And that's been something we've all been trying to function with in all of our dysfunction as black people. Because you always had that light skin against dark skin girl thing. You had all these things that we dealt with, these complexes. And it's been rooted in our culture for so long.
And who put it on us?
The
The
white
white
man.
man.
But let me ask you this then. Can you be pro-black? Like, can you be black and or do you disqualify yourself like if you get a white woman?
That's a question I ask all the time.
No, I don't think so. Eldridge Cleaver. I mean, come on. You're the lightest girl in the Black Panther Party. Eldridge Cleaver, come on.
I know, but
I think
I'm
there's a
going the whole
difference between
totally.
black and
No, I'm not
And
talking about the
believers.
JB. I'm not talking about the light skins right now. I'm talking about in 2021. If you promoting black, but you got a white woman or a white man, does that disqualify you? Like, what's the rules? Because Jesse got a light skinned black woman. And he's been ostracized from many of his black organizations. And
That is ridiculous. Everybody's not putting Jesse out at the same time. They can't put him out, and the homeless organization. Everybody's not putting Jesse out at the same time. They're not putting him out the culture. They're not counseling him. I don't believe it.
But
if you have a black parent,
he
if
gotta
she has
be
a black parent, she's black. Period.
But he's going through it. He's going through it. Like, how do you get put out of the black groups because you got a light white woman, and then you get put out of the homeless group? How you get put out of a homeless group that advocates for the homeless, and you get put out, and then you get put out from your black groups because you got a light skinned woman.
You just can't win.
Are you putting Kamala Harris out? Are you putting Kamala Harris out?
No, not me. But I'm just saying.
You're not putting them out.
I don't know what the rules are.
I'm just saying. She got a white guy. She got a white guy.
No problem. And she's black.
And she's black. So I mean, it's okay. But it's just we're all people. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And if more whites want to come over to our side, I'm all for it, because that means there's one less that's coming after us.
You hope. And you hope they're using their resources for you.
But
there's one less on the pot.
Taking it right back to their people. And you hope that they're actually doing things for our people and our community and for real in there.
And it's
there's always exceptions to that rule.
And it's even better than that. They've accepted people for people. They love somebody, they love them.
Isn't that what black is? Like, isn't black saying we understand humanity and it all come from us anyway? So how could you be against or away from who you are? Like, in 2021, my question is, like, I don't mind. I don't care. Like, I'm just I'm with Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm into the content. I'm into the content of your character. I don't care about the color of your skin.
You go.
And in politicians, I'm into your policies and your votes. Like, they done already pimped us out with putting black faces in high spaces and taking all of our stuff. So if you still running with that like skin tone thing in 2021, I don't.
But you know what?
I can't judge you though. I don't know.
There's no judging in that, but I think what we have to look at too is people's intentions. And if you intentionally only date white women and you intentionally don't date black women, that's when I have a problem.
Why?
When you intentionally only do that, I have a problem, and I'm going to say that.
Why?
Because it's okay. As a black man, I don't think that's not a fair decision to make.
Okay,
you come from black, so there's a part of self-hatred inside of you. If as a black man you say I only date white women, that is a problem for me.
Shay J.
JB, hold on a second, JB. She said that's a problem for her. She can't handle a problem for her.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that's not a good problem. You can have that problem.
I don't want the man, but it's a problem as a black man to say, "Hey, dear black women, I don't date you." That's a problem for me.
Okay, here's the perfect example of a guy who didn't fall into that trap, and that's Chauncey Billups. Okay, married his high school sweetheart, Piper, black woman, boom, boom, boom.
Amazing.
When you go as a young athlete in this society, when you go as a young athlete, like maybe Serena Williams, I don't know, when you go in and you get into a white college, and you got to understand, blacks didn't even go to white colleges. The first black went to like South Carolina in 1971. They just had a big party for him and stuff. That's 50-something. That's not even 50 years ago. So when blacks started going to white colleges, they started getting recruited. Okay, not to black colleges, to white colleges. All of a sudden, in high school, they've been around. Perhaps they've been to a Mullen or a Christian Brothers or to a white high school. They've been around the white kids there. They go to college, a white college now, and they're around more white kids there, fewer blacks. All of a sudden,
I understand all that.
All of a sudden, they start to they mingle with who they're with. And I'm just saying,
I get that.
That's how black.
Derek Martin and I talk about that all the time. I absolutely get that. I have a problem, and I will state this again for the audience that they heard the trigger alert. I have a problem for any black man that only dates outside of his race. Period.
No reasons. There can't be reasons why he does it.
And I learned that period is the end of a sentence.
And JB, as you know, I live in Africa. And so when you talk about
your home is a Telluride.
I do there too. I'm worldwide. But when you start talking about blacks who've just been exposed to white environments, all America is a white environment for black folks.
True. But when you're exclusively pinned into that, and there are no black women to even date on a college campus, you're out in the woods. But Charlottesville, listen, Virginia.
But why wouldn't a person?
I have a problem if you happen to fall in love with Country Betty that was at your college and you happen to trail down the same trail. Kudos.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's
fine. That's different. But when you say I only seek out everybody that's not my own people, that's a problem for me.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, that's what
I agree with you.
That is
I agree with you on that.
If your choice is rooted in self-hatred, like if your choice is rooted in self-hatred, like you look in the mirror and can't stand yourself because you internalized all that white supremacy and racism, you know, I don't even mind who you date. I just hate when you get in positions of power and you abuse black folks and you advance white supremacy in the name of blackness because your job was given to you because you black. So it gets real wonky, but it gets real wonky. It gets wonky, but like Jesse Paris has a light skin, and the blacks turn their backs on him. I don't know.
From our perspective, I would say all three of us, it ain't right, you know. But there's another three over here in that church over there that are going to say it's wrong, and there's another three in this church over here going to say it's okay. So you know, I mean, everybody's got their opinion. That's the best thing about America. We can have our own opinion, and on the Free Think Zone, we can talk about it.
And some of the folks that go the hardest for black folks, I think they have white spouses, and I mean it kind of balances out. I don't know.
I went so hard, I gotta go home.
They go real hard for the blacks, like hard for the blacks.
Well, you know, there's a lot of miscegenation in
it's okay
in the media. There's a lot of people in the media who are married white, and their kids are now coming up in the business as well, and they're also married white. Good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: white folks who hire black folks think of a black person who marries out of their race as somebody not as threatening as a black person.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you that's true. That's true fact.
Absolutely.
That's true fact.
What did you just say, JB? I missed that. What did you just say?
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Shay J, interpret what he just said for me. Sometimes I can't.
White folks think you've turned your back on your own people, and they'll go with that person before they'll go with somebody black.
Hold on. Are you both saying that you all know white folks that have these conversations about like black folks that get with white folks? They be like
black folks that have these conversations.
White folks talk like this?
Everybody has these conversations.
Everybody has these conversations, Jeff.
But I think JB's right. When you meet a white person, they're so more comfortable with you if you're an interracial couple. It's like, oh, yes, you're less threatening.
Guess who's coming to
Everything
dinner?
is free. Yes, we'll go in business with you. We'll do this alone. Or if you're a lesbian, then it's like, ta-da, we're chill. It's great. This is really how it goes. This is real life.
I think they like it as long as you ain't in their family.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Because you know when Brother Jeff show up, I may not be able to change them politics, but I could change that family tree.
Yep. That's true.
I can change that family tree.
I'll change that family tree.
I'll change that family tree.
You gonna have them little black grandchildren.
Period.
Keep playing. Keep talking and watch you end up with them black grandchildren. And you be the first one in line talking about Black Lives Matter and stop police killing black kids, because in 2021 there are a lot more white families that have black children that, you know, might be having what you all call mixed parentage, but it's a lot of white parents out there worried about their black son, seeing if that black son's gonna get home, and then they gotta go have a conversation with their uncle. Can you imagine going to talk to your father, your uncle, and your brother saying, "Would you please quit killing my son?"
That's real. That's real.
Well, one of the biggest drawbacks to the interracial situation is, and Shay J, you'll appreciate this.
Let me see it.
How do I comb that girl's hair?
Oh, I just had
I know what you can get. Chubby curls. Educating them. Not your hair one scalp at a time. If you got those skinny girls, you know what to do. Make them chubby. Chubbycurls.com.
Hey, Shay J, yesterday. No, Shay J. Shay J.
Read Courtney's book. Do something, please.
Shay J, yesterday I had a guest, Senator Michael Bennett, on, and he's introducing legislation to help end the school to prison pipeline, and he's had these roundtables. He had this wonderful young lady who was a part of the roundtables. Her name is Carly Allen, and she lives in Grand Junction. Black girl in Grand Junction. Before we went on live, she was telling me how, you know, she's in high school and just found someone who knows how to braid black hair in Grand Junction.
I'm just saying.
Just like she grew up all her life with no one around her who knew how to do anything with black hair.
It's an art. It's an art form. And back in the day, you know, when you had that Crisco can on the stove and a hot comb and
I used to get that hot comb.
come on, let's get
I got my ear burnt a couple times right there.
No, you know them black folks.
Come on, hold your ear down, like, but you still burnt it. I held it down. What do you mean?
How'd you get a hickey on the back of your neck? A bird of
No, they used to
too dark for
they
that.
used to
That
say
is
that.
too
Like
dark.
they used to try to say that. You brought up hickeys. A lot of folks don't know about hickeys in 2021, but folks used to say that they
don't kiss
they
anymore.
burnt
They don't
their
know hickeys?
they burnt
You don't kiss
themselves
in
with a
2021.
hot cone. Another thing, Shay J, I was talking to the brothers in the hood. I was on Philip Douglas' show yesterday, and I discovered, and JB, you know, I started this organization called the National Association for the Advancement of Slow Dancing because they don't slow dance anymore. Shay J, I learned, now listen to this, Shay J, I learned that the brothers do not kiss black women no more. They don't kiss black girls. The kissing ain't no thing. They go straight from 0 to everything on the other side of that scale, but they refuse to kiss them. What's that all about?
Why?
Ooh, and I have heard, I absolutely know this. And this is hitting right in the 20s. 20s and down. I absolutely heard this, and that's insane. And I think God knew what era I needed to be in. And I think it's, you know, that's, how intimate can you be? So you go from 0 to 100, and then they backtrack. So then what happens is when they really start to like each other, that's when you start kissing. So they'll have sex with you first. But they don't like you. So you know you're official when he starts kissing you.
Exactly.
So it's the whole reverse now.
Say that again, Shay J, because that's what I was telling the brothers. I was like, back in the day, if you got a kiss, that lasts you forever. You was like, woo. Folks be like, she kissed you? And then they was talking about if tongue kiss, like how'd you kiss? Like tongue kiss? And like, what? Or but the whites, I think they call it French kissing. French kissing. But black folks call it tongue kissing. And but if you were able to do that, that could last you like all year. Now, if you get a kiss, that's equivalent. Today, if you get a kiss, that's the equivalent of getting some. No, that's
get married.
What's going on, Shay J?
It's backwards. It's the total opposite way. They've been fast tracked. So sex is the automatic turn on, right? So it's like, let's go from 0 to sex.
And you know whose fault this is? You know whose fault this is, right?
Who?
Bill Clinton. I never had sex with that woman.
What's Bill got to do with black people kissing?
I'm telling you the whole kissing phenomenon. I'm talking
That was
about
sucking. That was not kissing.
Exactly. I would say it has more to do with 50 Cent saying I'm into having sex. I ain't into making love. I think like there's some other
So
messages.
I gotta love you
Maybe
now
that's in
to
there
kiss
too.
you.
Maybe
Like, I
that's
gotta
in
love
there.
you. I gotta be in a space with you now to kiss you because now we're intimate. Now we're in this. But I'm having sex with everybody. When I start kissing you, oh, you're mine. And that's the mentality now. And that's probably in your early 20s and younger. But that's
Well,
where we're living.
Shay J, you're at the club. It's last record is getting ready. The guy called Last Call for Drinks. We got 2 more songs to go. Now, what is the phenomenon at the clubs these days?
Can I chime in on that?
Wait,
Shay
J's in this age group.
She ain't in the age group I was talking to yesterday about them. I'm talking about 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds,
Well, she's going back to the
11-year-olds,
20s,
and a whole generation now that don't do no kissing. But Shay J,
don't do nothing.
what's happening in these clubs? Because what I see or what I've heard is they don't even dance with girls no more. Like you got bottle parties and you got brothers like around each other,
But what
and then you got
happens-
women
what
dancing by themselves and all that stuff. And so
Yeah.
that's
So-
why that's one of the
The
reasons.
club is really a status quota. It's a status check. Any club that we're in is a status check. How high is are you seated? How many bottles do you have? Does your section have a rope? Are you standing in line? Did you get to walk straight forward? How many girls? How many guys? Can you pull this group of girls over here? Can you migrate this group of guys over here? It's that. It's not a one-on-one thing. It's a group activity.
But what happens
transfer?
What happens with last record? Are you trying to get a dance with a girl?
I'm trying to get a dance. I'm trying to,
They ain't dancing, JB. They ain't dancing.
I understand.
No one's
but
dancing.
what I'm saying is that was what it was. Back
Yes.
in the day,
Yeah, that was cute back
that
then.
last record, you've been looking around the room. I'm going to dance with her.
I remember that at the house parties. That last
I got
dance
her.
was who you was going to be. That's your guy.
Last-
That dance meant something.
Thank you.
Shay J, let me
Yeah.
break this down to you all how this worked. If it was the basement blue light party, the thing is the DJ could play 4 fast songs, but that 5th one better be a slow jam. Cause I'm about to pin somebody up in this corner.
At the Aurora Lounge.
And you better play at least 2 or 3 slow jams because I'm about to be up in this corner. Now, I don't know why people go to clubs now, but back then, if it was to go to hang around a whole bunch of brothers, I ain't going. There ain't nothing for me to do there because I was going with some intentions.
Right.
I'm not looking to party with no hard legs.
How many? Period.
Hard legs. I'm
Yeah.
not partying with nobody with hair on their legs.
Shay J, I'm coming in with a taco box.
Fly fishing.
I'm fly. I don't know. I don't know why folks go to clubs, but when I went, trust me, I had some intentions.
I know, and they were always good for us, but not necessarily good for anybody else.
It's okay because girls had intentions too. We went out like you got to make sure this many people get your number, this many people talk to you. We had goals, we had intentions. We went out too with the same type of or we had that one guy that you had to make sure it happened. So we came out with goals and intentions too.
When did the false phone number thing start? Was that the 90s
we
or
did
80s?
that. Yeah, we had the hotlines where we give our numbers to these hotlines and stuff.
Oh no, JB, that was when we spent all our time just trying to get the number, and then you had to go home and get to a phone
And see if it was real.
to figure out if it was the right number or the real number.
Right.
Today you try that, folk be right
People call
now.
in front of you.
Girl, this ain't your number.
Do you feel it vibrating? Like what?
And JB, the girls had more game. See, this is what I learned from, as a sociologist or a negroologist.
Negrology.
Here's what it is. The girls and the women always know what's going to happen. They got more game than the guys, and they always would travel with that one that would watch the drinks and would watch them, and then their friend would try and go off with somebody they just met, and they had that rule that no, we came together, we leaving together. No, you ain't.
That's the rule.
No, you ain't.
Period.
Get in the car.
Period. That's the rule.
We had a name for that person, but I'm not gonna say it on this show.
It's a Hancock
Hey,
block.
hater.
Hancock
Nah, it was a
block.
CB. We had a
Hancock
name
block.
for that, but it wasn't. I'm not gonna say it on the show because this is a
Hancock
family show.
You guys are horrible. You guys are absolutely horrible.
KJ hanging out with 2 old timers.
Right now. And if you guys want to keep this show powered by the people, go ahead to brotherjeff.com. 7 donations a day keeps us up and running. Just 7 donations a day.
'Cause where
PayPal,
else-
Cash App, whatever you do, just drop it. $100, $1, $10. Keep us powered by the people.
Because where else can you hear this? Everybody thinks this stuff. Everybody thinks it.
Everybody wants to talk about it,
I mean, back in the day, man, I'm telling you, man. And see, kids don't even grind today. How could you? How could you
not?
Man. Come on, nobody even grinds today.
Man,
it's sad, bro.
you should hear some of the stuff that I heard talking to these young folks in terms of what's happening today. And I agree, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that's being done today, it's not that the young people are doing more, it's just that it's more exposed. And there was a time of, I would call it the age of discretion. You do that stuff, but you wouldn't let everybody know what was being done. Everybody didn't get a chance to look at it. And what I was able to share with them, and they listened, I said, they were talking about young girls doing blowjobs and all of this other, y'all grown. Like the young folks is talking about it. Y'all should know how to talk to young folks. They're talking about all these different ways of sex. Like, and I told them, when you're talking about a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, what you're really talking about is somebody who's been sexually abused, and you ain't recognizing it because it ain't no way in the world that certain age groups should know and being engaged in certain things if somebody hadn't abused that child. And we don't want to talk about the abuse because we don't want to talk about Ray and everybody saying just don't sit on Uncle such and such's lap and just don't leave him at home with Ray, all of that. We got too many secrets and we're acting like these kids are doing something that hasn't been done. Maybe we just need to have a reality check and say, there's a lot of racism and a lot of folks being killed, and the only reason you know they're being killed is because it's being shown on this latest technology, but there's probably just as many or more that have always been that way, and all this stuff has been taking place. It's just more exposed, and we're able to look at it.
But that's why I brought up Bill Clinton. He said he never had sex with that girl because it was a blowjob. And so what I'm saying is, right after that, if you remember, all of a sudden parents had to start telling.
Make it work.
All of a sudden, parents had to start telling their kids what that was, and that was crazy.
From the president.
Kids heard blowjob is from Bill Clinton.
From the president.
That many kids
Absolutely.
To listen to blowjob from Bill Clinton. I just don't think that happened.
Absolutely. That's what Monica Lewinsky was all about.
Yeah, but I don't feel like all the kids were tuned in watching it. It wasn't like Tom and Jerry.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when he went on TV and they impeached him, and he starts talking about, I didn't have sex with her. So now the kids can do the blowjob thing like he did and say, we're not having sex. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing is, and this is not only black or like you got it in the Latino community. You know, I live in Telluride. The kids tell me about the farmer parties, and they was telling me about lipstick parties, and like the stuff that's being done today openly is just mind-boggling. But they won't even hold hands. Like black folks don't even hold hands anymore, let alone kiss.
Yeah. Brother Jeff, I just heard of a real sick game. It's called, and it's really disgusting and disturbing. I was talking to a group of youth, and they have a game called the rape game. And how do you name a game like that? The rape game. So we're like, well, what is that? They keep on their clothes, they dry hump the girl, and they tag her, and then they try to get as many as they can. And they try to do it really, really hard until the girl like falls. And that's the rape game.
Well, I knew it was bad when I heard that song and said, wait till you see my, like, wait, I was like, what? Like, what's the lyrics of that song? Wait till you see my, huh?
Wait a minute. How about 112? How did they say?
Y'all's music has been nasty. Music has
been nasty.
I feel a little poke coming through. Hey, come on, man.
I mean, but
music has been nasty.
It used to be discreet. Now it's just straight up the rape game. What do? Let's go. Not hide and seek. Not hide and go get it. Let's go do the rape game. And then on your birthday, sing one time for the birthday, bitch.
Well, and we used to play Capture the Flag, right? I don't even know if you know what that is, Shay J, right?
Shay J.
Capture the Flag. So we would have two teams. You give the girl the flag, just a piece of shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And we say, oh, put that up your shirt. And then when you're trying to find the flag on the opposing team did the same thing. And so you're trying to feel the girls up while but I'm looking for the flag for real. Hold on.
Well, all I know is Jesse Paris has a light-skinned black girl, and the blacks in his pro-black groups have put him out.
Well, I don't think it's right. Let him back in, guys. Let him back in.
What about Denver Homeless Out Loud? Like, shouldn't
let him back in?
Let him. Like, can y'all reconcile? We're trying to fight the man. We're trying to fight the system. We open with message to the mayor. We can't fight with each other about, like, we can't make folks homeless while being a homeless organization. We just like,
that's horrible.
We can't do that. We can't do that. Horrible. We can't do that. How does that work?
Horrible.
Color theory.
I don't know. I don't know the details. I know that there's more. And at the main, and you know who started all of that? Mayor Jerry. Remember, I haven't seen Mayor Jerry in a while, But you know, he was the one that was showing folks how to do these safe outdoor spaces and, you know, make sure folks were taken care of in a communal kind of way and making like before folks were talking about let's do it at the city level. I don't know if you remember Mayor Jerry Ville. He had a whole encampment of unhoused neighbors that was a community, and he would make them clean up. They'd have watch sessions. They couldn't do certain things. And I'll never forget one of the sisters who used to be around here on the streets would say, Brother Jeff, I'm staying at Mayor Jerryville, and I think he going to start making us go to church on Sunday.
That's what I'm talking about. That's power. That's influence. That's community. I love that.
Well, Mayor Jerry, but here's what usually happens. And I will tell you, there are many instances of this. You remember when Terrence Roberts was fighting after the Holly was burnt down and making sure that the black community had their rights and they weren't going to just leave that what we call it the Holly as a vacant lot for weeds and to be, you know, turned into a desolate place where all kind of madness took place. He fought. And then when the money came and when the money started coming, they pushed him out. Boom, they got him out of there. You know what I mean? And so you have folks like, you know, Mayor Jerry and, you know, folks that are fighting. And, you know, they're talking about the issues. And usually they're talking about black folks and most folks that nobody talk about. But the minute a dime shows up, here come them other folks. Boom. And the next thing you know, all the whites got everything. I've
heard this story before.
This ain't new. It ain't new.
Stop.
Like, I don't know if it's the white man's burden. I don't know if it's just the archetypal pattern that, you know, whatever you got, you know, somebody got to be in charge. Like, look at all of the organizations that are run by white folks on behalf of or in service to what they call BIPOC. I'm like, if you want to help black folks, why don't you quit running them organizations? Like, I'm not talking about the ones that are more universal, but I'm talking about if your mission is specifically black and you white running it, you need to back up. That's all. Back up. Because I guarantee you there's somebody that's black that can do what you're doing better. The only thing you're exercising is white racist privilege, which allows funding to come your way because the white racist system won't give money to black folks. It gives money to white folks to take care of white families, neighborhoods, lifestyles in service of helping black folks. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you all them Christian organizations that came into this hood talking about they're here to help. And now they ain't Christian organizations. They just housing organizations. And who's in the houses? White folks.
Now that's a word. That's Free Game Friday. That is a word from the pulpit today.
Yeah, and it's just like we didn't have the mental capacity to be a football quarterback. Do you remember that? We don't have the mental capacity to be a football quarterback. We don't have the mental capacity to play traditionally white sports like tennis, like badminton, like, you know, polo. Like we just can't do that. And so that again goes back to this whole thing. Do I need to have somebody like that, you know, white with me to say that I can do it? Or, you know, it's so this is all the systemic racism that just keeps going.
But I mean, but look at it. Like, look at 5 points. Look at 5 points. And I would even speak to my brown brethren on the north side. You know, you get a black mayor, you get a brown mayor, and all of a sudden white folks got all your stuff. We can't see this. Wow. Like, we ain't seen this one yet. Here, let me tell you. See, that's why they don't talk to. That's why they don't talk to Brother Jeff often, because they gonna get blackety black. And for example, if you white working with black folks and you comfortable, and when you say yes, that Negro biscuit and molasses Negro does this, and when you say no, they do that, then y'all just basically the same people. Because if you comfortable around black folks and you from outside of the culture and you don't kind of feel like this conversation makes you think you hearing something from outer space, then you running around with some old biscuit and molasses Negroes, and both of y'all just getting that money playing them games. Like, if you want to run a nonprofit sector, every time them white folks come up and ask you what you need, say, I need you to bring me that bag and I need you to leave immediately. How about that?
Hey, look, we've had a Hispanic mayor, or 2 Hispanic mayors. We've had 2 black mayors. We had a black lieutenant governor. We've had blacks that are in the most powerful positions in the city. You know what?
And white folks got everything in the city.
Thank you.
The Mile High Income City.
So I mean, like, why don't we just call it for what it is? Since it's the Black People Month, like, see,
It's Atlanta.
like black
It's the white
folks,
Atlanta.
like the hustle that I see is black folks really began to revolt always over time. You can go all the way back, but let's just start with the Black Power movement, where black folks allowed it to be called the Civil Rights Movement, to be erased from the actual struggle that they were a part of and created, that opened the door for now minority white women and everybody else. But now the only people that's not inside the door is black folks in mass. I'm not talking about the black folks that got white folks all enamored and they all agree with one another. I'm talking about the masses of black folks have been done horribly, because in the middle of the 60s and all that rioting and all of, I mean, not rioting, all of that, all of those protests and movements that made folks hire folks like Jon Bowman and everybody else. Jon Bowman stayed black. He got in there, was like, we're going to do some black stories. We're going to cover this Million Man March. We're going to go over here and see what's happening over here. Everybody ain't like him. A lot of them got hired. A lot of them got hired, and they parents was the ones that was running from them protests, and they was around them white folks. They's like, we need a black face. Who is it? Oh, there's Bob that we've been disrespecting all these years. Give him the job. He gets the job, and guess what they do? Spend all their time making sure black folks ain't got nothing, and they appease the system by saying, we doing better. Why? Because we got that one black person that we hired, and they even drive the bus. We got that one.
That's Sam Greenlee right there. The book is called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. CIA operative during the 50s and 60s. He leaves the agency. They give him a job in a big building in Chicago, and he said, well, what do I do? He said, oh, there's your desk right there. It's right by the door, and we'll figure out what it is you're actually going to be doing while you're here. But just sit right there. So he sits by the door 6 months, a year. He's like, what is my job here? No, we're still mapping it out. But he was the spook who sat by the door. So when anybody came in, they looked like they were, oh, this company is so progressive.
Well, guess what we've been talking about in the Free Think Zone, ladies and gentlemen? Watermelon politics.
Watermelon politics.
We're talking about watermelon politics, and the great Leanne Wheeler is going to talk about it tonight, because here's what's happening in the community. And I'm going to tell you a little bit and set it up for what's going on tonight. And I hope you two just sign up. There's a link, and maybe I'll share the link, or the great Leanne Wheeler can share the link for those who want to sign up. But here's the thing. The white community, white moms particularly, got hip to the fact that the tobacco industry was targeting their kids with all these fruity flavored type tobacco products to keep and hook their kids into a lifelong addiction that would increase their bottom line. And so the whites got hip to it and started fighting politically to make sure that this is not happening, targeting the kids, but it's really, i.e., these white kids, because what's happening is the fruit flavor and the other flavor that they don't want to deal with is called menthol. And menthol was targeted toward black folks specifically. Like, billions of dollars have been made off the fact that black folks prefer what? Cool, Salem, Newport, like them's the Negro brands. And what do they got in common? Menthol. So what you have is everybody fighting to make sure these flavors are taken out. Even President Obama, who used to smoke cigarettes, sat up and signed legislation banning all of that, but made sure they kept the menthol in. Here's a black man, a black president, signing tobacco legislation around these flavors that make it more palatable to, bring it in, and they take everything out. He signs it as long as they keep the menthol in. See, this is an example. As long as you're doing something for blacks, we gonna make sure you ain't got nothing. But if you try to do something for blacks, we gonna get at you. And so now you got this movement happening nationally, and they're attempting to pull these flavors out and keep the menthol in. The watermelon politics is you've got the industry that done hired some high-profile Negroes that are always talking about how much they love black folks, Black Lives Matter, NAACP, Urban League, movement. These Negroes is taking bank from the tobacco industry to let them keep killing you with the menthol in more cases than all the police shootings and everything. And you got some right here in the Mile High Income City that are now lined up. These Negroes is taking $500 checks.
Hey, wait a minute.
They getting $5,000. Like they getting $5,000 checks to go and testify and say menthol good. That part of black culture. You can't attack black culture because menthol what we do. Now you racist. Like Negroes you see how these Negroes pimp the white folks, calling them racist, and when you call them racist, white folks be like, "What? I'm not racist." They both want the same thing. It's like, no, well, we'll keep the menthol and we'll leave that alone because that's a part of black culture. And, it's about to hit. So we're just giving you the heads up. And you're going to see some familiar faces they don't come in these environments and talk openly. They talk behind the closed doors with the whites and they take a check and they pump death into our community. Them is some more of them watermelon politics. Negro, I'm talking to you. I'm not saying your name right now, but we see you.
Yeah,
and you might get a video made after you in a minute.
See, look, we got the trigger. We got the 5-star news that comes out. Matter of fact, it's getting ready to come out, first of the month here. And the thing is, we have ads in there that are from National Jewish saying, you can quit, get on the quit line, stop smoking, period. But you have some other papers in town who now I thought advertising tobacco products in newspaper, print, and magazines was illegal. I thought that was a law, Jeff.
Well, it's not, but it's not so much about the marketing is who makes cool. Like what black folks make, whatever cool is cool. So if I just see when I see one of your cool folks doing certain things, it opens up a market. So we're not saying that like if you're smoking, we're attacking you. We're saying that there's an industry that targets young people to get them addicted, to make them not be able to stop, to continue their bottom line. We're not talking about what you adults are doing, because most of the time when you talk about that little girl who's telling you, or that little boy who's 10 years old telling you to touch them in certain places and doing things to you in certain places, that's because somebody has targeted them as a kid and made something normal. And then by the time they get older, they say it's normal and they like it, and they don't even know they was abused as a kid. That's what that's about.
That's real.
Well, hey, all I know is I ran up on some good things in the city. I went up to Safeway Plaza yesterday.
Tell me about it.
I went
What'd you get, JB?
I went up to the laundromat. Suds of Love. They're washing clothes for people who don't have money, who are unhoused. Anybody who comes in there. Jesse Marquardt, manual grad, 1996. He is doing this for free. He's got people donating soap and detergent and fabric softener and everything else. If you need your clothes washed, head right over there to that Safeway Plaza on 20th and Washington, because you can get your clothes done for free. And
that is beautiful. I love that.
And he's taking the program, the Suds of Love, up to Thornton, where there are a lot of Hispanics up there as well that are going to take advantage of this program. And if you have any money to donate, hey, throw it Jesse's way. Go by the laundromat, drop him off a check or whatever. And I'm telling you, people were kind of ashamed, ish. They didn't want to talk and they didn't want to be, don't tell my story. But at the same time, there were a lot of people who said, man, I don't know what I hadn't had clean clothes in 2 weeks. How? So
that's a
shout out to Suds of Love. I'm just telling you, that's amazing to me, man.
Shout out Suds of Love.
I wish I would have thought of it. It's so
I'm
good.
going to say shout out to all of the black organizations. And I'm telling you, behind the scenes, I do talk about them biscuit and molasses Negroes, but there are some sisters and some brothers and some allies and others that are behind the scenes making sure that black, BIPOC, people of color, etc., are getting vaccinated if in fact they want to. Like, we're not saying do whatever, but we're saying if you want to, you should have access. And if you're dying the most, then you should be close to or at the front of the line. And there are a lot of folks, particularly sisters I know, fighting Black and brown sisters, making sure that you can get vaccinated. There's it's full today at the Center for African American Health. Tomorrow, the the Dahlia Center for Mental Health, health and wellness, they're doing vaccinations. They've got, if you're 65 and over, you can definitely go call them right now. They've got slots available for you. But if you don't know, that's what that game is, to make sure you don't know. You can go to New Hopes. You can go to Shorter Community AME Church, True Light. There's all types of opportunities, and shout out to those of you who are making that take place. Who you shouting out, Shay J?
Ooh, shout out. Man, I feel like I don't want to start my shout outs because it could go really far.
You said you were in Texas with all the freeze out.
Shout out to Texas.
Making it through. Shit. Shout out to myself. Yeah, it was real. It was absolutely real. I got a surprise trip there for Valentine's Day weekend to get into the warm that ended up being the coldest storm ever.
Surprise.
So we flew into Austin. Day one was beautiful. Did an amazing boat tour. It was great, day one. Day two was like, maybe not so much what's going on. Day three, every single thing was closed, from 7-Eleven to the grocery store to the gas station. I mean, every single thing. By the time we tried to get out of there, we had to drive from Austin to Dallas because the Austin airport was closed. No flights in, no flights out.
Wow.
We drove all the way to Dallas, 3 hotels, all the electricity's out everywhere. So finally had to finally found a hotel a little bit further out. Electricity was good. Had to fly out of the Dallas airport. So it was a lot.
Did you see Ted Cruz?
Like,
Did you see Ted Cruz coming back from Cancun?
he didn't pass me, and I just was trying to figure out how he went. Because I even wanted to go to Cancun, but I thought it was inappropriate.
I saw he had French braids. Did he get his hair plaited?
I saw that cornrow.
I hate it here. He got his hair plaited. Stop it.
Shout out to before we get out of here. Also, shout out to U.S. Senator Hickenlooper. Now, remember last week we were talking about he was in a world of trouble because he signed on and joined forces with some of the most, what they say, racist elements of the Republican Party to deny access to immigrants, and undocumented workers, et cetera, from receiving stimulus checks. And even though it was a non-binding kind of vote, it's kind of like showing where you stand. And so you had a lot of folks that were saying the first thing Hickenlooper did once getting elected was kick the immigrants, like this, just kick them. Yeah. And so it looks like right now Hickenlooper has joined Senator Bennett in a coalition to introduce comprehensive immigration reform legislation. So shout out to Hickenlooper to getting behind comprehensive immigration reform legislation. Does that pull him out of the doghouse or no? What do you all think?
Smart move, buddy, but we still know what you're capable of.
He heard the drums.
Right, smart move, buddy.
Oh, the mariachis. He heard something.
All that. I do want to say shout out to Black Dollar Saturday. We have Suave Magazine out of Atlanta joining us tomorrow for Black Dollar Saturday. I'm going to join in. We got our newest employee with Black Business Initiative, Chris Cleveland, out of Ohio. So it's going to be a fun Black Dollar Saturday. So you guys make sure you tune in tomorrow.
And as
right
well,
on.
Talking about tuning in, how about the drop? I mean, they've been viral for a while now, but now they're on 104.7. Man, I'm telling you, Jeff, you and I were there when KDKO signed up, 2000. I mean, come on now. And now, 21 years later, we finally have a number on the dial we can go to and hear black music. I'm
Congratulations. I think that's super dope. Congrats.
Shout out to everybody that's into the content of everybody's character.
There you go. The color theory.
That colorism is real. Like
triggered.
How colorism has really been used in some very interesting ways on all sides of it, but at the end of the day, most folks who are using it are just attempting to get some green. That's like the color's green.
Brother Jeff.
The color's green.
Black is absence of color, right? And as is white. I mean, color is only a reflection of whatever light is shining. So if the sun is shining on a tree, the tree is not necessarily green. It's the light turning the tree green. It's tricky, man.
Shay J, he's breaking
I'm
it
not
down.
even with it. I'm not even with this thing he's trying to say right now. Like, knock it off. I'm just gonna say, make sure y'all love yours.
Yep.
Love yourself. Teach your kids to
mine.
love their skin tone and their color and whatever they are. It's hard out here. It's a lot of colorism. It's hard and it's still real. Even in 2021, it's a real thing.
And you know that story we always talked about, how take down the black pictures.
Absolutely. All this has to go down.
That story is blowing up across the country. Pretty soon, some state government is going to have to come in. Those appraisers are regulated by the state. They cannot continue to do this, and they won't. I even tried to be an appraiser. It's very hard to become an appraiser. But then when the people come to my house to appraise, I look at them and I'm like, "You're an appraiser?" They're jumping out of an old beat up truck or something, coming in with boots on. I was like, Do you know where you are? This is Park Hill. This is where you get my comps from. I'll ask him, and they, just right around here. I said, man, this is 20 blocks north of here. That ain't a comp for me. Huh. So that's a big story, man. That's a big story.
Well,
stay woke, my people, but not too woke.
I know.
Yeah. Well, love who you want to love. Jesse Paris. Hold hands. Hold hands and kiss.
Yep.
Hold hands and kiss.
And remember,
go forth and hold hands and kiss.
You need.
If you don't know where you stand, I know where you stand.
If you see something,
say something.
You see something.
Say
you have
something.
to have light to have color.
Huh?
What?
You have to have light to see color. Those red books on her shelf, if there wasn't light hitting those, we wouldn't know they're red.
Well, hey, JB, you need light to see.
Yeah, you're deep right now. You're real deep.
I'm about ready to go. I'm about ready.
Like, for example, folks think that the ocean is blue. Have you ever gone to the ocean and put a cup in and pulled it up and seen if it was blue?
You
went up into the sky. Did you go up there when you got up there? Did you see blue?
It's black. It's black. Black space. And when you look at a polar bear, you think it's white, but it's really not.
What color is it?
Hey, Big T says, hey.
The space in between the hairs are reflecting the color from the sun or whoever.
What color are they?
I'm telling you, it's not as white as you think if you see one.
It's all wonky. Big T said that he misses us. Big T has checked in and said that he misses us.
Love you, Big T. Always love you.
We miss you too.
I'm gonna take my CMOS and then I'm gonna get out. But again, if you think that this isn't racism, are we talking racism? Because somebody said that they were gonna report us for being.
No, we're talking colorism.
They always talking about telling on us. Like, one of the things.
Go ahead and donate while y'all telling. Go donate, brotherjeff.com. Don't tell, just donate. Best Nation donation. Come on, be a blessing.
Put it down. If you're listening for a reason. The reason you're listening is to become a bit of educated, So don't be hating the people trying to educate you. Listen to what they're saying and just take it in. If you don't like it, you don't have to believe it. Just take it in. The more you take in, the better you are to form whatever kind of silly opinions you come up with. So
we called your opinion silly.
Hey, and then also, Shay J, I'm going to give you the final words, but when we sign off the air, would you guys stay on? Because I got to have you guys call a couple of people for me because I don't have my phone. and the reason Gerald is not here because he's somewhere I asked him to be, but I haven't been able to call. And you see he's asking, can I leave? I'm like, I just couldn't tell you. I don't have my phone.
Hey, man, when you leave your phone at home, you're on your own, boy. Because if your car breaks down, what do? Hey, man, can I call this number for me real quick?
It's horrible.
We'll look at you like you're crazy.
It's horrible.
All right, Shay J, what are your final words? And then we're going to wrap things up.
Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow to Black Dollar Saturday. It's going to be great. We have a special guest from Suave Magazine out of Atlanta, Rashad. You want to tune in. That is 2 o'clock, right? Is that 2 o'clock? Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Tune in and make sure you keep on following us. I'll see you guys back here next Friday. I'm your girl, Shay J.
JB signing off.
Hey, JB, they're trying to figure out what you were talking about with them polar bear colors and all that, but we'll figure it out.
Let it go, guys. Sometimes you got to let stuff go. Just let it go.
I'm telling you, look up a polar bear and ask
white.
Google, why is a polar bear white?
Well, I just want to see some folks holding hands again. Like,
make sure y'all love yours. Love
yours.
Love
my
yours.
saying,
All right, free thinkers. If you go down swinging. You just might score a knockout. Rumble, young man, women in community. Rumble. You two don't hang up. I got to give you some phone numbers to call real quick. I don't have my. I don't have my phone. Man. All right.